We are going live again. Welcome to the after party. Let's make sure we're going live on YouTube. Let's make sure everything is going great. And if everything is going great, well then, we've got a party, don't we? Everything is going great. Let's check the volume. How we doing on volume? Well then, we've got a party, don't we? Everything is going great. Let's check the volume. How we doing on volume? We're doing great on volume. That's how we're doing. Let's get some tunes up in here. Welcome to the after party, a new segment where after I'm done discussing the tech that I find interesting, the stories I find interesting, we kind of sit back, we chill back. I give you some life updates, we give you some app updates, and I give you one little sneaky, little cool tidbit, little advice, some recipe, something I've learned, something, you've talked to me about in the comments or the chat that I really thought was interesting. So this is really our connection time. So, what I got for you today? First, let's give you a life update. So far, classes going pretty well. C++, tons of fun. Miss Java. Actually, I don't, but I miss Swift. I love Swift. Swift is my favorite language to code in by far, mostly because I love Apple products and I love being able to finally be able to put my own work on them. In terms of anything else, I've got some apps submitted, but we'll get back to that in a second. I've got some mock-ups I've been making. So I've got an iPhone 10, or technically iPhone 11 Plus mock-up, smaller notch, combined Face ID, or true depth camera and front camera, stuff like that. No integrated fingerprint sensor because I actually like Face ID enough to say that I don't need a second backup and to make things confusing for the end user. Furthermore, I've got an iOS 12 concept that I'm going to be ready to talk about very soon. I've been testing it specifically on two different devices, an iPhone 5S and an iPhone 10, so the two ranges of the spectrum. Hopefully, iPhone 5S will be supported with iOS 12, but we'll find out for sure in June in WWDC. If not, that form factor still will be with the iPhone SE. No matter what it is, that is what we're going with. I think the design language I'm going for with iOS 12 is, if you keep up with the rumors or anything, it's all that is going to be, not as big of a design change from 6 to 7, where we got rid of all the skeuomorphism and went with a very flat and colorful theme. This is going to be a design change. Every time I've done one of these, I try to come up with, this is the year that Apple's going to introduce a new design language. Last year, I called it Fluid Design. You can check out the concept on YouTube. I will link it in the video, in the cards. In fact, I will do that right now as I speak. But the big important thing is that, with this one, I am coming up again with a new concept. It is an iOS 12 concept. I really like it. I think you guys will too. It redoes a lot of things that a lot of people don't like about iOS 12, especially on the iPhone 10 front. On the iPhone 10 front, you're getting a lot of specific new features, ones that I'm not going to go all talking about yet because I want to save something for that video so you guys don't know everything. But there is going to be a lot of features that users are asking for, a lot of things that are fixed, such as a redesigned control center that's more accessible, stuff like that. I think at this point, it's dumb if you don't see a concept with a redesigned volume bar or something like that. So what I will say is that you will see a lot of that, and similar to my iOS 11 concept, where when Apple first introduced iOS 7 and that new design language, they talked a lot about translucency and transparency, and since then, in their apps, they're moving towards a different one with like big and bold titles, but they're getting rid of that transparency everywhere, and I think that's the wrong way to go. So there is going to be a lot of transparency and translucency in my concept. As such, I'm reaching a point in the design concept where I'm thinking of two different really good ideas, so I'm going to split them. One of them is a lot more card-based actions and design. So keep an eye out for that very soon. This is an idea I've been playing around with, but I designed it on paper because I have a very set way of how I want to design things. First, I think about it for a really long time and see the real issues that I have right now with the current way that I am designing stuff, with the current way that I'm using products. And then once that is fixed, or once I've decided that I have an idea how to fix it, I need to now visualize it. So I go and I get a piece of paper, notepad. I prefer legal pad, pen, pencil, and I draw it out, and I keep refining it until it looks the way I think it should look. Then I go into Sketch and finalize it, and then I save it and put it on my phone as an image to really get the idea of what it will be like to have it, to make sure everything fits perfectly, and tweak from there. And so far, everything is going really, really well with that. I wish I had images for you, but again, I'm on the gaming computer that I built, and the Sketch is only on MacBook or Mac OS 10. Or now it's just Mac OS. So now it's only on Mac OS, so I haven't put the images over yet, but I will very soon. Don't you worry about that. That's going to be in a later video. It will also be posted onto my website, probably on Dribbble, Behance, and Reddit as well. So nothing to worry about there. Next up on the list, we got some app updates. So here's the first thing. Discuss has finally finished moving over to a new infrastructure. Everything works really well, really smooth now. So if you haven't yet and you would like to, please go ahead and check out Discuss on the App Store. Let me go ahead and try to... Never mind. Because of all the YouTube stuff, I no longer am able to link a card, even though it's to my website, and it says it's enabled, but then it says it's not enabled, and then it says I'm verified, and then it says I'm not verified, and I used to be a partner, and now I'm not. It's all very weird. But what have you, if you go into the description, check out my site. You can download Discuss right now, especially if you've got an iPhone 10. I reworked the app from bottom up, specifically for the iPhone 10. So there's a dark design that takes advantage of that beautiful OLED panel. It's card-based design, so it literally looks like it's just floating on your device. Now, every phone gets that same fundamental design. I didn't want there to be too many changes, but it looks especially beautiful on the iPhone 10. Next up, we've got Off to Golf. Off to Golf is a fun little app I made. It's a game. I was experimenting with gaming, especially using specifically only Swift, no Unity, nothing else. And I gotta say, I used SceneKit. I think it looked, and GameKit, and I think it looks really, really well. It's got Game Center integration. I did submit this previously in December to the iTunes App Store, and I was rejected for two key reasons. The first was that the App Store icon and the main icon looked too different. Now, I agree with that. It was a mishap on my part. The second one was that it wasn't looking correctly because they test all their apps on an iPad, running it at either iPad resolution or iPhone resolution. Now, I'm a big fan of not making my apps for the iPad just because I think my apps don't really work that well on the iPad. I think there's a lot of wasted space. For the game, it wouldn't have been that much of a problem, but I just didn't want to risk it. But for Discuss especially, it's a table view, so there's going to be a lot of empty space on both ads, and I didn't want to be the kind of person that puts ads there. So there's just nothing there, and I at that point I thought it was a waste. Next up, we've got Chatty. Chatty is what I'm calling, I think, my most ambitious project yet. Discuss was difficult because it was my first project that I decided, you know what, I'm going to release it as an app. So it came as a full-fledged idea, and I wanted it to be the anti-social network. It's anonymous. I didn't think it was going to, I didn't think many people would be using it. We're at like 52 daily active users. These people that are checking in, they may not be posting, but according to the analytics, they're at least checking into the app. And that's a pretty good one. And I thought I was going to have a lot of competition from a lot of people. And, I'm having that competition. But I think I got lucky when Reddit started announcing that they were making people sign in, and now you have to have an account. So I think that's really cool. Not really, actually. I hate it. Because if I'm not logged into my Reddit account, it won't let me go back to the first page unless I have RES installed. But usually I don't have the Reddit enhancement suite installed on someone else's computer that I'm just checking Reddit on. So, I'm hoping that Discuss, with its latest infrastructure updates, with its latest design changes and everything, I really hope that everyone likes it. If you haven't checked it out yet, please check it out. Let me know what you think in the reviews, in the comments below, or just go ahead and post in the app. Second, or actually third, Chatty. Yeah, Chatty is the most ambitious project yet. And the reason for that is it's using a lot of technologies I've never really had any experience before. And its main one is it's using machine learning and artificial intelligence to make a chatbot. While everyone's making chatbots these days, and you might not think it's anything special, this one is the snarky chatbot. It's, because sometimes you want a little sass in your life. And that's what this one's for. So Chatty is being worked on right now if you do want to beta test it. In fact, let me go ahead and add it into the description. If you want to beta test it, you can beta test it at the link below in the description. But if you're too confused or it doesn't show up for some reason, if you just go onto my website, www.rajaprem.ga, and the link is in the description as well, and you're just like, yo, I want a beta test, you'll see a beta test link at the very top, and everything will be great. So just to make sure, real quick, go to it. I think it should work pretty well. It's very interesting so far. Right now, it's type to text and everything. Soon, probably in a version 2.0, depending on the results I get back from the feedback I get back, we will move to a version 2 with speech output, so that'll be great, and then speech input and stuff like that. Right now, the way I've designed it, it looks a little bit different than every other chat app or chatbot, or assistant or anything that you're used to. Yeah, it looks more akin to Apple's usual design standpoints, and it will work with iOS 10 and above, but it is designed using, an iOS 11 look with the large titles if your device supports it, bold text, stuff like that. I wanted it to look very, very stock. Now, depending on where we land with that, we will go from there. The final point of this is an app that I'm working on. I have a name for it. It's a proof of concept. Working on it, but it does extend the functionality of Apple Music, and that's what I think is really cool. I love Apple Music. I've been using Apple Music since it debuted, and I think it's a really, really nice way to listen to music. I never liked the whole Spotify thing, but the one thing I hear a lot of people saying why they won't leave Spotify is they've created playlists that they love to share with other people. And that's something you cannot really do with Apple Music, and I have seen that. I have noticed that, and I have to admit, I would love to be able to create my own playlists and share them. So this is taking that idea one step forward, and it allows you to create playlists with your music, and you can even allow other people to add to it. Then you can listen to it in real time, and everything works, specifically only with Apple Music. So I will be releasing more info about that as soon as Chatty wraps up completion. But so far, everything's working pretty perfectly. So before we wrap up today, here's your little knockout, little surprise tidbit. Bum, ba-da-dum. Let's get some sound effects in here. Let's see. Let's get a drum roll. Do we have a drum roll? Do we have a drum roll? I got a Windows Defender alert. Didn't know we even had Windows Defender. So let's get the drum roll, please. That was not a drum roll. I feel gypped. All right, that's a drum roll, I guess. This was not a good one, my friends. This was an exercise in futility. All right. Whatever may happen, here's your little slow cooker surprise recipe. I tried it out last night. It was really good. I had to share it with you guys. If you guys want, I can do a walkthrough of it, but I'm about to actually eat some leftovers right after this. That's how good it was. So I did 2 to 3 pounds of chicken. I don't even know what kind. It was either breasts or thighs, skinless, boneless, you know the drill. You can go boneful, but you're going to end up shredding the chicken anyways. So really just go with whatever's cheap and good for you. Next we went with 24 ounces of salsa. Original recipe called for 64. We went with what we had. 24 turned out really well, and then a block of cream cheese in the slow cooker. We did a high for 3.5 hours. At around the 2 hour 45 minute mark, 3 hour mark, we shredded the chicken up, let it sit for a little bit longer, and like really get that flavor. And it was so good. I highly recommend it. Future versions of this will include me adding garlic because I love garlic. And that's really it. I'm curious to see how it tastes with the full amount of salsa. But like I said, we were working with what we had, and that's what we had. It was really easy to do. Really good Super Bowl like food too. Everything really just really worked out really nice, and I really enjoyed it. So, this has been Raj from iStudent. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. Let's try to get to 2 likes today. 2 likes is all I'm asking for. If we can go up in a subscriber, that would be cool too. So if you'd really like this content and you want to see more like it, then go ahead and subscribe. It's free. I mean, it's free anyways, right? If you didn't like it, go ahead, leave a dislike. I'm fine with that as long as you tell me why you're breaking my heart in the comments below. Heart? So yeah, this has been Raj from iStudent. I'll catch you guys on the next one. If you're new here and you've never seen these videos before and you got a little bit of love in you, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and I'll be your best friend forever. See? Heart. Yeah. What's up, guys? Real quick, this is a test. If you're watching this, go ahead and cancel out. This is me testing out the music. Apparently, I couldn't hear it too well when I went back to watch the videos. Wanted to make sure everything was working well and why I couldn't actually hear it. So that's what we're doing today. That's all that this is. So you can go ahead and leave. Or if you want to stick around, give me more views, go ahead and do that too. There's no real good way to test this because I have the music playing too. Let's see. Alright, so we did something there. God, I really don't want to have to open Microsoft Edge, but I think that's what we're going to have to do. God, I don't like Microsoft Edge. Let's see, 1 second. No thanks. I do not want to leave Google Chrome. No, stop hitting me with all these adverts. You're like worse than a Wi-Fi. Not a Wi-Fi, but a virus. Thank you. So let's go ahead. We're loading it up in Microsoft Edge. So no music can be heard. Still testing this out, trying to make sure what exactly is going on here. So I think the only way that we're going to be able to actually do this really well I think the only way we're going to actually be able to do this really, really well and figure this out is to be, or not to be, pulling out the good old iPhone 10. So while I'm doing that, you can stare at this picture of Intel's Vont glasses. Otherwise, just go ahead and leave. It's a test stream anyways. Alright, what is up, guys? I got the iPhone 10, and we got the music working. So that's at least something good. So now we're just messing around with the volumes to make sure that this doesn't happen in future streams. See, like, that's too much loud volume right there. And I'm sorry again if you're still paying attention. I'm honestly very sorry. See, like, that's too much loud volume right there. And I'm sorry again if you're still paying attention. I'm honestly very sorry. So now we're moving to another song just to keep testing this out for a little bit longer. I think that this is a good way to have it set up. Hopefully the music will continue to work from now on. Thank you guys again for watching this. If you guys actually did, just leave a dislike. Actually, just go ahead, leave a dislike. Raj from my student.